Hello everyone, my name is Lisa and today I'm coming at you with a book outlet unboxing video. If you watched my intro video, you know that I have put myself on a book buying ban, but before I did that, I ordered 3 orders from Book Outlet. So this is the first one that came in. The other 2 I expect will be here within the next week. We're gonna go ahead and unbox. I got Conjuring of Light, which is the 3rd in the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy, one of my favorite trilogies by V.E. Schwab, aka Victoria Schwab. I have the first book, and now I have the 3rd book. I do not yet own the 2nd book, A Gathering of Shadows, but I will at some point. I will. Next up, we have The Dire King, which is the 4th Jacoby novel. I own the first 3. This is a series about kind of like a fantasy mythical Sherlock Holmes, deals with paranormal investigation kind of things. I really enjoyed the first, I think I only read the first book. I really enjoyed the first book, which I had checked out from the library, and I enjoyed it enough to buy it, and then I bought the subsequent ones and did not read them yet, but now I have the 4th one. I have, I believe, the entire series so far, so I'm excited to have this. Next we have Nightly and Sun by Rohan Gavin. This was kind of an impulse buy. I didn't know anything about it, but it also sounds like kind of like the child of a Sherlock Holmes figure who is trying to figure out So his dad went into a coma, is a best-selling book making people do terrible things. So, apparently I don't know exactly what this is about, but this was the only copy, and my library did not have this book. So, I bought it for, I want to say like $1.50. So, we'll read this. I forgot to say that The Dire King and the Jacoby trilogy, or Jacoby series, is by William Ritter. Next up, This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab, who is probably at this point my favorite author. So I have read this book already. I checked it out from the library. So it's really good. I like it a lot. I will also at some point get the sequel, Our Doctor Wet. Next up, we have Trust Me I'm Lying by Mary Elizabeth Summer. This is another book that I don't know that much about, but it sounds like a lot of con artistry and mystery and things of that nature. I don't know much about this, but it sounded really interesting, and this was, I think, another kind of additional impulse buy. I also got Strike by Delilah S. Dawson. This is the sequel to Hit, which I have not read, and they were sold out of on Book Outlet. It's kind of difficult to find here, but I think my library has Hit, so I can read that first. But this was, I believe, 99 cents, and it sounded interesting, but can I tell you what it's about? Let's see. You know what? I don't want to read this because it's going to spoil the first one for me, but Hit sounded really interesting, and like I said, Strike was really cheap, so here we are. Next up, have the first 4 books in the Thief series by Megan Whalen Turner. I read the first book in this series and I really enjoyed it. I know it's from the late 90s, I think, is when it first came out, but I got them in the really cool new covers, which look way better than the original covers in my opinion. But I got the first 4, and I still actually have the 5th one checked out from the library, so once I get through these, I can read that one, or I can also get that one if after I read it, I like it. But I'm on a book buying ban, so I'm not going to buy it right now. Yes, hold me accountable. The second and third book in the Summoner series, I also ordered the first book after realizing I don't own it, and I thought I did. That's in another book outlet that will come later, spoilers. So we got The Inquisition and The Battle Mage, both by Taran Matharu. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. But these books are really engaging, really adventurous, really awesome, about a boy who finds out he has the power to summon demons. They're really cool. Highly recommended them. This Song Will Save Your Life by Lila Sales. This is a book that I didn't know anything about at all, actually, until I started watching booktube videos. I try to go into it not really knowing much about it, so I'm not going to give you a synopsis. Next we have My Heart and Other Black Holes by Janine Wanga. This is one that I've also heard about a lot on booktube several years ago. As I understand it, it has a content warning for suicide and depression, but it sounds really interesting, and so next I have Fox Forever by Mary E. Pearson. This is a sequel. Oh, I didn't realize it was the third one. I have The Adoration of Jenna Fox, and I have not read it. But apparently there's a sequel called The Fox Inheritance, which I don't own. But it has a boy on the cover. Anyway, I haven't read The Adoration of Jenna Fox. It is in a bin downstairs. But now I also have this. I think this was also 99 cents. I have a problem. I'm sorry. But it's stopping. It's stopping here. Well, it's stopping after the other two come. Then we have Tandem by Anna Jarzab. This is another one that I didn't really know anything about, and I think it was probably super cheap. But it sounds like a time traveling or multiverse story. This one is the entire Firebird trilogy by Claudia Gray. These covers, I'm sure that you've all seen them at this point, but 1,000 Pieces of You, 10,000 Skies Above You, and A Million Worlds with You. I read the first two books, and I really enjoyed them. And so I wanted to own them, and also those covers, though. Probably going to keep these books forever because of those covers. So the next one is No Such Person by Carolyn B. Cooney. This is a book about a girl who her sister is accused of murder, and her sister claims that she's innocent, and the main character has a bad feeling about the sister's new boyfriend and thinks that he's responsible for it, but the police have all the evidence saying that it was her sister that did it, so this is about trying to figure out what actually happened. So the next two are ones that I hadn't heard about either until I had looked at them on Book Outlet. My library has one copy of the first in this series and nothing for the other one. So I bought them both, and that is Teen Hyde and Teen Frankenstein by Chandler Baker. These are books about high school monsters, as far as I know. Again, don't really know anything about them. That's fine. That's why you read them. These stacks are getting very precarious. So this is The Many Lives of John Stone by Linda Buckley Archer. Sorry for the lighting shining brightly in your face here. It sounded really interesting. This was another one that was, I want to say, $1. Next up, we have The Silence of Murder by Dandy Daly McCall. Dandy Daly McCall. This is about a boy who is accused of murder, and he is mute, and so he can't defend himself. and about, I believe, his sister who is trying to get to the bottom of things and defend him. Next we have School for Sidekicks by Kelly McCullough. This is another one I had not heard of or knew anything about, but it was $1 for a hardcover, so here we are. I assume it's pretty self-explanatory, and it's about an academy for sidekicks. That's what I'm going with. Next up is Crazy by Amy Reed. Now, this book I have had on my TBR list for, probably 4 or 5 years, about a girl with bipolar. I have not read anything by Amy Reed. According to the back of this book, she has lots of other books. But this one was the one that had stood out the most to me, and like I said, it had been on my TBR for a long time, and it was on super sale for like 75 cents or something, so now I have this also. Next up, I have The Alex Crow by Andrew Smith. I have not yet read anything by Andrew Smith. I have Grasshopper Jungle checked out from the library, and this book was also, I want to say, 99 cents for hardcover. But this is about a schizophrenic bomber, so let's see how that is. Sounds interesting. Next up we have The Truth About Alice by Jennifer Mathieu. This is another book that Kate's Book Date really recommends. From what I know, this is a book about a girl named Alice who has the reputation of being sexually promiscuous, but the whole story is told from multiple points of views, but none of them are actually Alice. You're just getting other people's version of what happened or opinions about Alice, but you don't actually hear from Alice. So that sounds really interesting. The next two I'm really excited about. I'm really excited about all of them, obviously. But the next two are Proxy and Guardian by Alex London. These have also been on my TBR for a really long time, and I just never got around to reading them. They were, I want to say, like $3 a piece on Book Outlet. These are about a place where there's someone that takes all of the punishment for you when you do something illegally. Sounds really interesting. I've wanted to read it for a long time. Last few books. Next up, we have The Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis. I have not read anything else by Mindy McGinnis. This is a book that I've also wanted to read for a long time, but haven't yet, and now I can. Next up, we have Black Ice by Andrew Lane. This is the third book in the, Sherlock Holmes The Beginning series. I have the first 2 books. Have I read them? No, but now I have this one. And it was also, I think, like $1 or $2. And here we are. We are at the very last book. I hope you're all excited. Did not really save the best for last, but this is The Ghost Faces, which is the 6th book in the Brother Band Chronicles by John Flanagan. I loved the Ranger's Apprentice series. I own all of those books. I am slowly trying to own pretty much everything that John Flanagan has come out with. I realize that they're probably considered middle grade, but I love them. I love them so much. So now I have the 6th book in the Brother Band Chronicles. I own the first 5. Have not read any of them yet, but I own them. And now I own this one. So that's everything. We got... I keep saying we, like you guys are also a part of this. So that was 33 books in this Book Outlet unboxing, and that's why I have a 1,500 book problem, because I own so many things that I don't actually know what the stories are within them. But that's why I'm doing this channel, and that's how we're getting to the bottom of this. Let me know if there's any of these that you absolutely love and you would love for me to read first. I would say probably my most anticipated reads of this are going to be Proxy and Guardian, just because they've been on my list for so long and they sound really interesting. So, but let me know if you've read any of these books, if you absolutely love any of these books, if you read any of them and you hated them, or if there's anything you're really super interested in that you would like me to talk about. But thanks for joining me, and see you next time. That's the air conditioner. Let's turn that off. There we go.